Hey everybody, it's Jim Johnson. I am the project manager and line editor of the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game published by Modiphius Entertainment, and this video is super exciting for me. I am going to be talking about Captain's Log, the new solo role-playing game that we just released on pre-order this week on Tuesday, July 11th. It's now Friday, July 14th, and I thought we would start jumping into a actual play of the game here, give you a sense of how it plays, how you pull it all together, how you make it work, etc. And I think the first place to start would be with character generation. So I have my handy dandy copy of Captain's Log. I happen to go with the DS9/Voyager cover. I've got that ready to go right here by my side. I've got Scrivener opened, and I've got, of course, me, right? So you don't need to use Scrivener, obviously. You would want some sort of recording device, whether it's pen and paper, pencil and paper, Alpha Smart Neo like I use, laptop, computer, like however you like to take notes and record things is whatever you want to do, right? A copy of the book, and I've also got the PDF open up on my computer just so I can reference it. I don't, I'm not going to display that as well because there's too much stuff on the screen and I don't want to make it even more complicated. So what I'm going to do today is go through character generation in Captain's Log. And hopefully we can get this done within about 30 to 40 minutes. If you don't want to watch the nuts and bolts, skip to the end. Feel free. Up to you. But I'm going to go step by step through the book, how to create a character. I have my handy dandy 2D20 with me. These happen to be the Kirk Tunic, or actually Kirk/Pike Kirk dice. These are dark green with the gold numbers. You can get these off Modiphius' website, but I'm going to use 2 of these. All you need to play the game is 2D20. Doesn't have to be the official Star Trek dice. It can be any 2D20, whatever you're happy with. So I got my 2D20. I'm going to make this character completely random. I have no preconceived notions going into this. I am a blank slate. Basically, I have no idea what I'm going to come up with here. I'm going to let the random rolls decide, and I'm going to bring you along with me here on the journey. So let's just see what happens here, okay? First of all, let me minimize. This is going to be weird because I don't normally minimize the window that I'm recording, but let me see if I can make this small here. And apologies for the technological things. I am still learning this stuff as I go, as I grow my channel. I am trying to be efficient here. Let me see if I can minimize it that way. Does that work? Yeah, that works. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll just get that out of the way here. I'll move that over there. Okay, so I have Captain's Log open. I am on page 92, which shows you the Lifepath flowchart, starting flowchart for creating a life path, your life path. This is the full version of creating a character in Captain's Log. There is a creation and play option, which is much shorter, and you kind of discover the character as you go, as opposed to building it out entirely from the beginning in the life path. I will do another video at some point down the road here to show off creation and play. I think creation and play might be I don't want to say better, it just might be a more appropriate character generation format that better emulates the TV shows, right? Because when the writer's room and the producers and everybody get together, they write a series Bible, and there's like usually a couple paragraphs for each character. They're not really super well fleshed out. They just have like broad strokes, what they think the character is. And then as the actor inhabits the character and they start writing scripts and they start going from episode to episode and season to season, they start building the backstory of that character and they start making those characters more fully realized. You have the opportunity to do that within Captain's Log by using creation and play. And of course, you can also do it with the life path, but you'll just be adding different stuff. You'll be growing the character as opposed to learning more about them, right? So anyway, with all that being said, I think we'll just get started here. So first step is to have your character sheet. For now, I'm just going to use Scrivener just to make notes, because this is kind of a worksheet, because we're going to be building as we go by the time we get to it being finalized. So starting points, we know from the flow chart here that each attribute starts at 7. There are 6 attributes in this game. If you're not familiar with Star Trek or Star Trek Adventures or Captain's Log, we have 7 attributes, and then we have 6 disciplines. The 6 disciplines match the different departments in Star Trek: command, con, security, engineering, science, and medicine. If you're not familiar with what any of this stuff means, it's all fully described in the book. So there is an extensive part of the chapter before character generation that talks about what is control, what is daring, what does all this stuff mean. And I see I made a typo here, so I'm going to fix that, because otherwise I'll never be able to concentrate on anything else. All right, so attributes, disciplines. So that's our starting points, is attributes and disciplines. All right, so next what we're going to do is we need to pick a species. So I'm going to grab my handy dandy chart here. First of all, because I'm doing this completely randomly, what I want to do is I want to find out, is this character mixed heritage or not? Am I going to be looking for 2 species or just 1? It's a possibility that a lot of different characters in the Star Trek universe are multi-species. For instance, Spock, great example, half human, half Vulcan. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the handy dandy yes or no probability matrix. And I don't know the genetic breakdowns here, but let's, for just the sake of discussion, let's say that this character could either be multi-species or could not, right? Let's say it's 50-50. So I'm looking at the yes or no probability matrix, and I am going to roll 1d20, see what we got here. So 50-50, 1 to 10 yes, 11 to 20 is no. So we're going to roll, and I rolled a 6. So that means, yes, this character is multi-species. All right, so we're starting off hot here. So we're going to go make a note in here. They are multi-species. Okay, now we're going to roll on the random table to find out which 2 species they are. So I'm trying to decide if I want. You know what? I'm going to just pick an error. Okay, so I'm going to roll a d20. I rolled a 9. So right now I'm looking at page 93, the random species by era table at the very top. I've rolled a 9, so that is the original series era. So this is going to be an original series character. So we'll just make a note here. Original, get my paper in the way here. Original series era. So that's good. So now I've got 2 tables I can roll on. I can roll on the Enterprise era species table, or I can roll on the original series era species table. And those are both on page 93, bottom 93. So I've got to pick 2 species because I am multi-species. So let's see what happens. I'm going to roll a d20. I got a 14. 14 is either Kzinti or Suliban. And interesting choices. I'm not excited by either of those choices, so I'm going to roll again. I rolled a 14 again. All right, somehow the fates are conspiring. They want me to be a Kzinti or a Suliban. Well, okay, let me make a note here. This is interesting. So we could do Kzinti or Suliban as the first species, and then the second one is a 11, which is a Riemann or a Horta. Oh boy, Riemann or Horta. And I know I want to play a Federation game, and none of these species. Oh, maybe Horta. I'm going to keep rolling. I'm not loving these choices here. Here we go. So Gorn or Cation and a 1. Anar. No, you know what? Let's do, oh boy. This should be interesting. So how about we do multi-species, Cation, Kzinti. Sure, why not? I can see it. They're both felinoid species. The Kzinti have a heritage and history of domination and slavery and other stuff, and sure, why not? Okay, so my character is half Cation, half Kzinti. All right, so now we're going to go look at the character, the species information for these characters, because now we are still on step 1, species. We need to pick +1 to 3 different attributes. So we're going to look at the Cations here. The Cations get +1 to daring, fitness, or insight. So we've got daring, fitness, or insight. And if you look at the note on page 91 about mixed heritage characters, you may choose 3 different attribute bonuses from across both species. So we are going to pick basically the best, or the 3 most interesting ones that we end up with. So Cations are daring, fitness, insight. And the Kzinti, let's look up the Kzinti. The Kzinti are on page 99. They are daring, fitness, and control. So daring, fitness, and control. Okay, so we'll look at that here. So let's see. Do I want to be more insightful or more control? So I mean, clearly, daring is going to go up to an 8. Fitness is going to go up to an 8. Let's go with insight. So we'll add a +1 to insight. So that is step 1, species. All right, so that's done. All right, now on to step 2, which is environment, setting, or conditions. So if you slip on to page 103, talking about the environment, regardless of the species, officers come from many environments across many worlds. This is your environment grants you a single value, a point in an attribute, and a point in a discipline. You can start from either the setting, which is a home world or a colony, or a condition, such as a utopian paradise, a world at war. Conditions are something we introduce in the Player's Guide for Star Trek Adventures, but for Captain's Log, that doesn't matter so much. This just gives you a couple of different options of things to consider for your character's starting environment. Where were they born? Where did they grow up? How did they get started here? So let's see. Environment or condition. Well, you know what? We happen to have a handy-dandy probability matrix for yes or no. So I'm going to just adapt that and say 1 to 10 is environment. I'm sorry, 1 to 10 is setting, and 11 to 20 is condition. I'm just, like I said, going to be completely random here for the most part. So let's see what we got here. I rolled a 18, so that means condition. So we're going to switch over to page 105 here. So we're going to be talking about conditions. There's some options here. So the options are utopian paradise, cosmopolitan, rigorous discipline, asceticism and introspection, struggle and hardship, and occupation or war. These are just the different conditions of my character's home world, home life, beginning stages of their life and career. So this is a D20 table. Got handy dandy D20. I'm going to roll it. So what we got here, I rolled a 10. So that is rigorous discipline. So we're going to make a note of that here. Just right here, I think. So in environment, rigorous discipline, and I'll read that out for those who aren't familiar with it. So rigorous discipline, where is it? 99, right? Yeah, here we go. So rigorous discipline is on page 106. Rigorous discipline. You have always been surrounded by notions of duty and purpose, and your childhood was a strict one, aimed at preparing you to take on a specific role or to achieve a specific goal. This meant relatively little personal freedom, but it instilled within you a powerful sense of what you were capable of when pushed to succeed. Value. We gave a single value. All right, so we're going to put a note here. I will work on the values later, but I will make a note that we have to come up with a value for that. We're going to choose one of the following attributes and increase it by 1. Control, fitness, or reason. Control, fitness, or reason. I'm going to go with reason, just with the idea that they were strictly grown up, really forced to think for themselves, had to reason things out. And then for discipline, given the Cation Kzinti background, I'm going to go with security, just to say maybe they had to pick their fights, be selective in how they fought, be selective in how they managed things. Yeah, I think reason and security sounds like a good pick. Value, I'll figure that out. Although I guess there is a random value table I could roll on, but I do like to think about my values. I'm going to give it a little more time to think through this character here, but let me maybe just for the sake of discussion, we could roll one and see what it looks like. So page 90 is the random values table. I wish we had more room to put even more values in here, but we just didn't have the space. So the 20 in here are a good starting point, I think. But let me roll D20 here. Oops. And I rolled a 5. That value is exploration is the blood that fills my veins. You know what? I like that. I'm going to work with that. Let's put that in here. Exploration is the what now? The fuel that fills my Okay, so this character wants to explore. What, even at a young age, they were wanted to be out there exploring. Exploring is the blood that fills my veins, not the fuel. Well, same idea. Exploration is the blood that fills my veins. Okay, so that covers the discipline, the attribute, the value, rigorous discipline. All right, so let me hit a bold on that. All right, so next step. We've done our environment, we've got our attribute, we've got our discipline, we've got our value. Next step, early outlook. We have some choices here as well. We can look at their upbringing, their caste, or their aspiration. So in general, the caste applies to Klingon characters. That's something we ported over from the Klingon core rulebook. And let's see, I should probably roll randomly here. I think. We don't have a random matrix for this, but let's see. Do I want to be a caste, or do I want to have an aspiration? Flipping through the book here. Because there's three options. Well, okay, so 1 to 6 is upbringing, 7 to 12 is caste, and 13 to 19 is aspiration, and then 20 is I'll reroll. Okay, that works. All right, so I rolled a 4. Okay, so upbringing is the table I'll be picking. So we're going to go with upbringing. Oh, this is early outlook. All right, so early outlook. Upbringing is the sub-section. And then there's a table for upbringing on page 107. There are 3, 4, 5, 6 options here, plus a reroll. The upbringing could be Starfleet, business or trade, agriculture or rural, science and technology, artistic, creative, diplomacy, politics. Okay, so let's see what we got here. All right, so I'm rolling my D20, and I rolled a 4. Business or trade. Okay. Business or trade. Upbringing. Business or trade. I think I like where this is going so far. So early outlook. Business or trade. All right. And this is, we're going to go to business or trade here and we'll talk about it. All right. Business or trade. Your character's family may have connections on countless worlds, overseeing and directing some grand business endeavor. They have grown up encountering people from all walks of life, including those from outside the Federation, and their outlook on life has been shaped accordingly. If your character accepted this upbringing or rejected it, oh right, so that's for this stage, your early outlook, you have an opportunity to either accept it or maybe you rebelled against it, depending on what your character's life was. And hey, guess what? We have a probability matrix. Yes, no probability matrix. So 1 to 10, yes, they rebelled. 11 to 20, no, they did not rebel. So rolling d20, and I rolled a 4. So yes, they did rebel against this upbringing. So they did not like the fact, or whatever, rebelled against it. They were not excited about the business or trade. Maybe because exploration's in their veins, they want to be exploring. They don't want to be stuck into a business. So if they rebelled against the upbringing, stepping away from the family business to find their own identity, increase insight by 2. So increase insight by 2, and reason by 1. So they had a little bit more time to build on that reason that they were starting to develop. All right, discipline. Your character's experiences with their family business allows them to increase any one of command, engineering, or science. Well, tying into the exploration angle, I think I'm going to go with science here. So maybe they were more interested in learning how the universe works and functions and not so much about how to sell stuff or make stuff or whatever, right? And then we also get 1 focus. Character gains a single focus that should relate to the nature of their family's business, covering skills that are valuable during trade, or which were useful to the family business in other ways, or certainly you could pick a focus that had, if you rebelled, you could pick something else. In this case, because I decided to put my my point into science, I think it would make sense to pick a science focus, and it just so happens that in the same chapter we have a random table for focuses. So if you can't think of one, or you need a little bit of a creative spark to come up with one, we have a handy table here. So on page 87, there is a 2d20 random table chart here to pick a science focus. So I'm going to roll 2d20, add them up, and I'm going to see what science focus I should be adding for this stage of my life, my character's life. So I rolled a total of 27, and that is a focus called rapid analysis. All right, so let's go here. Oops, don't want to do that. Let's just add it down to the bottom here. I'm going to add my focuses, rapid analysis. Now in Captain's Log, these focuses, actually, I mean, it's true in Star Trek Adventures too, these focuses are not specifically defined other than just by the words that they are. So rapid analysis, that could be whatever you think it is. In this case, I would say it's probably something where this character can look at a series of data points and fairly rapidly come up with an analysis for it. The analysis may be not accurate, right? But they can rapidly kind of work through data points and problems and see what's up. All right, so that's looking good. Okay, so that's step 3, early outlook, upbringing, rebelled against it, got my attribute bonuses, got my discipline bonus, got my focus. All right, so now we're going to go on to step 4, which is education. So we're going to switch, move on in the book to page 115. So now we're looking at step 4, education. Some characters at the center of the Captain's Log story will have received their education at Starfleet Academy. Others may have received theirs on the streets of a busy commercial colony, etc., etc., etc. All right, so first let's randomly pick what kind of training they got. There's a random table on page 115, so we're going to roll that right now. I rolled a 9, so that is Allied Military Training. Okay, so we've got so his education, Allied Military Training. So perhaps went to most likely a Cation university or school or some sort. Maybe even a Kazinti one. I feel like maybe. Well, here let's roll on the probability matrix. Does this character favor the Cation side of things or the Kazinti side of things? So let's see what we got here. We got a. I should have clarified. Let me re-roll. 1 to 10 is Cation, 11 to 20 is Kazinti. So I rolled a 1. Okay, so this character favors the Cation side of things. Maybe stuck with their Cation parent or guardian or whatever, but leans toward the Cation side more than the Kazinti side. Okay, well that would kind of maybe make sense if they rebelled against the early outlook and went into Allied military training. Probably Kate is the planet. Kate is the name of the planet. All right, so education. We are going to be getting a bunch of stuff for education. So we're going to go to Allied Military Training, first of all, which is on page 117. All right, so as an alternative to attending Starfleet Academy, to select the type of military training your character has received, choose from the options below or randomly select. So we're going to randomly select. Our options are rank and file, officer training, intelligence training, or militia and guerrillas. So let's see what we've got here. Oops. I guess I need a dice tray to roll into, I guess. All right, I got a 6, so that is officer training. All right, so we have officer training. Okay, officer training. Spent years of study to become an officer. You can pass training, leadership, and command, etc., etc. Received a rank, so on and so forth. There's going to be a value related to this, so put value there. Okay. Attributes. We gain 3 points of attributes, which may be divided amongst 2 or 3 attributes freely. Either one gets +2 and another one gets +1, or all 3 get +1. I increase command and security. Okay, so command. Let's see what we got here. So officer training. So I'm thinking command should probably go up by 2. and security should go up by 1. And then choose one of con, engineering, science, or medicine. Con, engineering, science, or medicine. Military training, exploration, wants to be an explorer. Science or con, do you think? Maybe wants to be flying just as much as they want to be out there. So I'm going to go with con. So that's a nice. Oh, you know what? I think I messed up the disciplines here. I think security should be. Where did I go wrong? Let's go back. Go back. There we go. So command 3. Oh, hold on. Let's go back. Okay, yeah. All right. So command 3, security 3. Let's give it to con 2. Okay. So that's my disciplines. And then I get to pick 3 focuses, 3 more focuses. All right, and I feel like these focuses should relate to the disciplines that I improved, right? That seems to make sense. So let's go to the focuses table here on pages 80, 85 and onward. So I think command went up, so let's do a command focus here. Roll 2d20, and I got a 14. Emotional intelligence. Okay, interesting. Let's check that out. And I might change some of these later, but for now, let's go with that. Let's see, con. We did pick a con focus. So, we improved con. So let's see what we got here. We have a 11. Oh, interesting. Efficient evasion. Not just evasion, but efficient evasion. That's interesting. Efficient evasion. So learning the pilot means they got really good at using a minimal amount of power and maneuvering to evade stuff. That's pretty cool. And then what was the last one? Security focuses. Yep. All right, security focuses. 2d20. We got a 9 on security focuses on page 86. That is criminal organizations. Interesting. Organizations. So I can see we're going through training in the Cation Officer Training School. They develop their leadership skills, they develop their piloting skills, they develop their security skills. Security revolving around learning more about criminal organizations, learning how to fly efficiently and evasively, and then the command focus was emotional intelligence. So maybe getting into the mindset of a criminal, thinking about ways how criminal organizations impact cultures and species and communities emotionally and socially. Yeah, and then tied into the rapid analysis and stuff. Okay, so that's coming along very nicely. And I do have to come up with a value as well. So why don't we look at the random table for values? This is getting to a point, unfortunately, because we only have so many value options in the book. I might have to get more creative on that, but let's just see what the random one comes up with for value at this stage. So I've got a 19, and that is willing to sacrifice myself to save my crew. Okay, that's a good one. Willing to self to save my crew. All right, cool. I'm liking this character that's coming together so far. All right. So that is step 4, education. Now we're going to move on to step 5, career length. So we'll continue on through the book here. This is a sense of like how long has your character been in their career? Are they new to it? Are they a novice? Are they experienced, or are they a veteran? They've been at this for a long time. This might impact your character's age too. Age is completely up to you. There's no random table or anything to dictate how old your character is. You have to keep in mind that in the 23rd, 24th, 25th centuries, humans live into their 150s. Other species live longer, live shorter, whatever. So age is kind of not as important as maybe it is now, because people in the Star Trek universe could have multiple careers over their long lives, right? Like, Tuvok was in Starfleet for a while, left Starfleet, came back to Starfleet, You know, somebody who lives 120 years could have a number of careers in that span of time, right? So career length is just kind of an approximation of where your character is. So we're going to roll in this table, d20. I rolled a 10, so this character is experienced. So we're going to put career length in here, career length in here, and they are experienced. So they've been at this for some time. So I'm going to make that bold. All right, so career length, experienced. And what we pick up as an experienced character is your character has several years of experience and is enjoying a promising career. Value, added value. Okay, so we're going to value for experienced. So we'll go back to that value table on page 90. I'm going to roll this again. Again, we only have so many options here. 1. A good mystery is irresistible. That works for me. A good mystery is irresistible. Yep. All right. So that probably ties into the whole idea that exploration is in the blood. Even though they're kind of like leaning toward like a career security / intelligence officer. Well, I mean, good mysteries still fit. Like you could be a criminal investigator and want to figure out that mystery, right? So sure, yeah, that works. All right, so that's step 5, career length. Now we go to step 6, career events, and this we're going to be doing this twice. So career event 1, and then career event 2. So the first one we'll do here. So each of these career moments is going to give us a bonus to an attribute, a bonus to a discipline, and a focus. Now, we'll just check our math here. Oops, go back there. Check over here. So we've got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 focuses right now. So, and we should have 6 total. And we're going to have 4 values. So I got 1, 2, we got 3 values here so far. There'll be another value coming up on finishing touches. So move that down a little bit. All right, so career event number 1. So we'll continue on. So this is page 123, describes it. Page 124 has the random table for career events. So now we're going to pick some random options here, or not pick, we're going to roll. So the first career event, let's see what we've got here. We have a 3. Lauded by another culture. Okay. Lauded, L-A-U-D-E-D, lauded by another culture. Lauded by another culture. Your character was involved in a mission that earned the official praise of a non-allied culture. They are now considered to be a friend to that people. Some questions for you to consider. What culture was aided? What was the mission? Why was it important? Why was it praiseworthy? Does your character have any friends or contacts in that culture who could be contacted for help? Your character's standing and renown increases their presence by 1. So we're going to add 1 to 1 attribute. Presence goes up by 1. Presence goes up by 1. Okay? Disciplines. Your character's broader understanding of the universe and another culture increases their science by 1. So science goes up by 1. Cool. And then focus. Add a focus reflecting your character's experience with that culture. Or I could roll on the science table and pick a science one. You know what? I like X culture. So let's do that. X culture. And you know what? Since we happen to have the random species tables, I am going to roll on one of those random species tables. Okay, so there's 2 species tables I can pick from, Enterprise or Original Series, because this is an Original Series character. So 1 to 10 Enterprise, 11 to 20 Original Series. So I rolled a 10, so that is the Enterprise Era Species table I'm rolling on page 93. And I rolled a 9. Klingon. All right, so okay. So this character did something that the Klingons were impressed by. Oh boy, I like that. Lauded by another culture. Klingon. All right, I dig it. So that's my attribute, that's my discipline, that's my focus, that's my first career event. Okay, so we can complete that. Now we'll go on to career event number 2. And we'll go back to that table on page 124. We're going to roll for our second career event now. How are we doing on time? We're a little long. Okay, I'll try to speed this up. We're getting close to the end here. All right, so I rolled a 12. 12. Betrayed ideals for a superior. Oh my goodness. Betrayed ideals for a superior officer. What's going on? We were doing so good. Your character was placed into a situation where they had to choose between their own ideals and trusted superior, and they chose to follow their superior. All right. So who was the superior? What did they ask your character to do? How does your character feel about it now? What were the repercussions? Are the details of this event on record? Was your character right or were they wrong? So these are the questions you should be thinking about as you're building this character's backstory and psych profile and however else you want to dig down into this here. All right, so attribute. We get +1 to attribute. It says your character learned a lot from the superior on how to command respect, increasing presence by 1. Okay, so presence goes up by 1. Difficult decisions are part of being a leader. Your character increases their command by 1. So command goes up by 1. Whoa, okay, very, very clearly turning into a commanding officer here. And then focus, added focus reflecting the event and its aftermath. And there's some examples listed, but I want to roll on that focus table. So I'm going to pull out the focus table again here out of my book. That again is page 85. We're going to go for another command focus here. I mean, it's not necessarily a command-specific focus. It just happens to be listed on the command chart. We've got a... Oh, wait, that's a 2d20. Sorry. I got only one. It's 25. Mental discipline. Yeah, okay, I can see that. So, mental discipline. So, learned a rough... Maybe learn some lessons there. And then let me put Klingon culture here. Gotta alphabetize my focuses there. Alright. Klingon culture, mental discipline. Alright, so very, very focused, very rigorous in their mental thought processes. That ties into the emotional intelligence. That ties into the rapid analysis. Interesting. Okay, I'm digging this. Okay, so that was the attribute, that was the discipline. That was the focus. Okay, now we move on to step 7 of character generation, and we're just about done here with character generation. And let's go to, where is it? What page are we on here? Page 130, no, 120, 129, page 129, finishing touches. All right, so I've got, right now I've got 1, 2, 3 values. I need one more value. This might reflect the career events rolled in step 6, or it may represent some other element. All right, so let's go back to that handy-dandy value chart. Here we go, on page 90. Roll. Okay, I got a 13. Seeking to find myself far from home. Sure, that works. Seeking to find myself far from home. Okay, so seeking to find myself far from home. So, maybe that last career event, betraying ideals for a superior officer, maybe that really threw off the character. They're maybe having a crisis of conscience, and maybe needs to find themselves a little bit. Maybe they're seeking to figure things out a bit. So that's the focus. Oh, I'm sorry, the value. Attributes, increase 2 attributes by 1 each. All right, so where are we a little deficient here? I don't want this character to be quite such a hothead, so I'll go with a +1 to control. And with the high command, I think a high presence would probably go nicely with that. So cult of personality, I'll go with presence 10, so that's 2 attributes. Right, I may not, this is kind of a little bit of housekeeping here. The character may not have any attributes above 12, we're good. And only one with a 12, no 12s, we're good. For any attribute that has a rating, we're good. Okay, so that's all fine. Disciplines, increase 2 disciplines by 1 each. Alright, so disciplines by 1 each. Well, I'd like to round this character out just a little bit, so I'm going to add 1 to engineering. And do I go with medicine? No, I think I'm going to go with security. I'm going to really lean into that security, intelligence, rapid analysis, mental discipline. Yeah, all the, and Klingon culture. Yeah, I think I'm leaning them towards security and science. Okay, so it's disciplines. You may not have any disciplines above 5, and only one discipline is below 5. That's good. So good. Now we have to do our final checks on math here. We should have a total of 56 points of attributes. So we've got 8, 16, 24, 34, 44, 8, 16, 24, 8, 16, 24, 34, 44, 53. So I'm missing 3 points of attributes. I may have missed it somewhere. I'll have to double check. Where did I miss those? And then I should have 16 points of disciplines. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I do have 16 points in disciplines. 16 points in disciplines. But I missed 3 points of attributes. How did I do that? 8, 16, 24, 34, 44, 53. Huh. 7, 6, 7, 42, 45, 46, 49, 52, 4, 56. Now I'm looking at the flow chart, and that's right. I must have missed something somewhere. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this, and dang it. All right, well that's fine. So I mean 8, 16, 24, 34, 44, 53, 4, 6, 10, 12, 15, 16. So the disciplines are good. So I don't have to worry about disciplines. Now attributes, just somehow, you know what, I think I missed the career events attribute bonuses. And then the other one, I'm not sure where I missed the other one. I'll have to go back and listen to this again. It might have been Outlook, maybe environment. Okay, well that's all right. We'll just make it work here. So I need 3 more points in attributes. Let's see. Let's go. I don't think he or she or they are very daring. Fitness, I should certainly increase by 1. Control, let's go by 1. And I think insight would probably make sense, just given some of their focuses. So let's check that now. So 60, 59, 50, 57, 56, 57, 56. Okay, so that's 56 points of attributes, 16 points of disciplines. That's all good. We've got 4 values, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 6 focuses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we got 6 focuses. Good. We got 4 values. Good. All right, so we'll just go to the finishing touches here. So now I'm on page 130. All right. And this is where I'm probably going to need to give this a little bit of thought. I'll probably cut this short here because I want to be a little thoughtful about their position, their rank, and what they're doing. So I'm thinking this is probably, because I do want to play a Starfleet game, a Starfleet kind of game. So I want this character to be a like the officer. Oh, what was it called? The where Riker went over to the Klingon ship as an officer transfer program, you know, just to learn about other cultures and whatnot. So, they're in Starfleet now. Now the transfer program, or maybe they were or sponsored and joined Starfleet. Joined Starfleet as a Cation courtesy. maybe we can come up with something for this, or some other reason. Given their skill, given their rank in command in engineer, or I'm sorry, command and security. I think this character is likely a executive officer or maybe chief of security. And something that I'll have to think about is this on a ship or a station? We can talk about that next video. We'll talk about building our home. So is this on ship or station? I'm kind of leaning towards station, just to make them a chief of security or the first officer of the station. There's some possibilities there we can play with. Was there anything else to cover in finishing touches? Name and pronoun. I'll think about that. And then rank. So as a XO or chief of security, they are probably either a commander or lieutenant commander, almost certainly. I don't think I want this character to be a commanding officer, like a captain or anything. I want a little bit of flex. Even though this is Captain's Log, you can play any kind of character you want. So XO, maybe chief of security. Leaning toward XO, but we'll think about it a little bit. Yeah. Oh, well, I could also come up with a name. So there is a handy-dandy name generator in the back of the book if I want to create a name here. Here we go. So let's go with, and I'm almost out of time here, so I'll just wrap this up here. Every good character should have a name, and I think I'm leaning toward Commander something or other. So let's see what we've got here. Let's go with, I'm on page 315, the name generator table. I'm going to just, I'm going to create a two-syllable name. I rolled a 9, so this is going to be AD, and it's going to be, whoa. I'm wrapping it through my head. Woe-ed. 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 Commander Woe-ed. Woe-ed? Woe-ed. Commander Woe-ed. And I don't think they would use a surname. So I think I'll go with Commander Woe-ed. Commander Woe-ed. And I'm going to go with, I think they're going to be an XO. So I'm going to just... Executive Officer, Commander. Okay, so that is character generation. This is the full-blown Lifepath character generation for Captain's Log, solo RPG. I have now gone through the complete Lifepath. This is what, 40 minutes, give or take, right? I don't have the timer. Yeah, about 45 minutes. Went straight through it. We got all the values. We got all the character information here. I'll transfer this over to a character sheet. And then next time, next video, we'll talk about creating a ship. And because that's a fairly quick process, I'll do creating a ship, and then we'll start creating the some other details just to get our heads straight on where this is going. And then I'll start creating the first mission and the first inciting incident. So I hope you've had fun with this. I hope you've had fun watching. I hope this was informative to give you a sense of how character generation in Captain's Log works. And I'll be back soon with another video. In the meantime, enjoy this. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great day, and thanks so much. Talk to you soon.